Hi, America. It's your boy Chris March. Welcome to Live from the Death Star. DarkSyde. He was Death Star for now. You had those mistakes. Got your boy Mad Poster.
Whoa.
My man's IQ. Ronald Wheeler.
What up?
Side Busting.
Peace and blessings.
Side League Lord Vader Code.
I am your father. Not you.
All right, we've been going live over the week for the most part, discussing various topics, a specific topic in general. Our topic for the day is going to be relationships from the opinions of course, as you see on camera, black men. So it's our side of we're not discounting the female opinion. We even have a voice of reason off camera to fight y'all's cause per se.
Fight their cause. Fight their cause. Before shit goes down south. Fight their cause. I just want to let y'all know, Happy Mother's Day, because we love y'all first and foremost.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day from the Death Star. And now shit can go down here. Let's go.
Fight their cause. And I want to say happy Mother's Day to all the single fathers that's out there doing this. You know what I'm saying? They got their kids and shit.
They playing the role of mother.
The mother. Well, not actually the mother, but showing them the ways that keep them from going astray. Like your father should, a strong father should. This should be our day too. I might as well go ahead and throw the first part because Father's Day is going to be all fuck them niggas. So, yes, I picked up the stone and threw that. I shot that bitch at the glass house. Y'all like it? Fuck y'all.
Hi, America. Normally, I would say the views and opinions expressed by one of us do not reflect the opinions of Live from the Dark Side, but in this specific case, I agree.
It does.
Fuck y'all. Now,
you concur. You concur.
There's full concurrence. Thank you. Full concurrence. Oh, my man. You about to say something?
Oh, no, I'm concurring.
Oh, okay.
Concur.
Leave that shit alone.
All right, now, like.
Love y'all, America.
We're encouraging audience participation, especially with this topic. So if you're watching, feel free to post your comments on the link, ask questions to any of us, or express your opinions, or even better, if you're friends with Live from the Dark Side, hit us up on the messenger, call us, send us a message. One of us is watching. We'll try to address your questions as we are going on the topic.
So what we're actually doing for the ones that's like probably talk about, go to Live from the Dark Side page, hit the messenger, call us. We will put you on speaker. You may ask your question. We will answer it in a formally manner. And if we feel that your point might be debatable, we might give you another goddamn comment. But we're going to handle it just like that. Continue, cousin.
There you go.
And with that being said, please feel free, add your comments, call in, ask your questions. And like I said, this is a male show, this is a male perspective, but we do have a voice on the outside of the view of the camera. I'm pretty sure we will incite we will incur her wrath at some point for our views and opinions.
At least twice.
Because I'm pretty sure some of our views and opinions will be taken as offensive. But once again, there's often so many times that female side of the opinion, especially on relationships, gets expressed, and it's not as often that males get to champion their cause.
Or when we do, we get thrown under the bus.
Or when we do, we get thrown under the bus. Well, for once, this is our palette. This is our place. This is our place to launch from. So we about to kick it off. Once again, relationships specifically between us, as in black men and black women, why they fail, what causes them to fail, what causes them to succeed. But first, leading into said topic. Now, let me say this. I came up with this topic Sunday. This topic was my idea on Sunday. It just so happened that the gods favored me, and we had a lovely occurrence happen on, what's that thing called? The red table. Red table. Yes, the red table. We just happened to have this red table thing happen. And it just happened to coincide with the topic that I had previously picked. So let's get into it. Apparently, Miss Aisha Curry, American wife of basketball star Stephen Curry.
Star.
Basketball star.
Superstar.
We have to include that for the purposes of said topic. She was recently on the television or internet or whatever. She was recently on a show called The Red Table, in which she said, basically, my Steph gets all these women throwing themselves at him, and he's getting all this attention. And as a woman, I feel insecure because I don't get any of that. And men all across America is like somebody had touched the damn air conditioner in their house. The thing went off. As soon as those words exited her mouth, men was like, eh?
Yeah.
She said, what?
Yeah, she said that shit.
She said, why us men are saying that is one, in our opinion, from our personal experience. If Steph Curry would have went on TV and said, yes, I'm a basketball star, and women, but I see my wife, and my wife has all these men just offering themselves to her, and I'm insecure, and I feel like I should have that kind of attention from all these other women.
Oh, he silenced it. Well, lead the lamb to the slaughterhouse.
American
Lead the lamb
slaughterhouse.
to the slaughter.
He would have went from American sweetheart to American pariah within minutes. This is the world that we live in. If he would have said it, he would have got slaughtered. Whereas the same women that are defending his comments love to tell us, well, we don't understand that she wants attention from other men because we're men.
The dumbest.
Wow.
The dumbest. I'm telling you.
Wow.
Just because I have a dick does not mean I'm stupid. That is the dumbest.
Look.
You just irks me because they said that. I read that shit so much this damn week, like real shit. So many people just women. Y'all, first thing that they said, y'all men, so y'all don't understand. Hey, how? How? Break it down to me, because nobody ever said, you know what? Since they don't understand, let me break it down to them so they can understand.
Women.
You don't even much got no face, yo.
And
there she goes. Here we go.
It was only a matter of time. Slide down.
No, I don't plan to be on camera. They can hear me quite clearly.
We all know who that is.
okay.
Yes, we all know who that is. So let me say this, and this is the only thing I'm gonna say on the topic. I have not seen the video. However, I have seen all of your comments, all of your memes, and all of your jokes about it.
I've been throwing them out there.
But
The only thing that I have to say to this, and I can speak from experience, due to the fact that I was on the road singing, my ex-husband, excuse me, dear, my ex-husband had the same issue. That is why he is my ex-husband. And the reason why I say he had the same issue, because he actually admitted it to me. He sees me on stage. We're walking. He sees me with, I'm singing on stage. It's a C audience, meaning I can't see the last person who is in the back. And the same thing happened where he needed some attention. The amount of attention I was giving him wasn't enough. The amount of money that I was making wasn't enough. But he wanted someone to make him feel like a star. Now, I'm not saying what her comments were. She was just one who came out and said it, possibly. We'll look at it that way. But my only point in this right now is that men suffer from the same feeling of wanting that attention. I'm not going to say it's jealousy. I'm not going to say it's envy. You can look at it in a different way. When a man doesn't like the fact that his mate makes more money than him, we can turn this all kind of flippity-flop ways because it still applies.
I got some comments yet.
However, I went through the same thing, and that's one of the reasons why I'm divorced now, because he acted on that. So what do y'all have to say to that?
he was weak.
He was weak? Okay.
I'm going to say,
Easy first.
I'm going to say this because I had to catch myself because I was going to say something really, really negative, but I ain't never said nothing negative about it at all. So I had to catch myself. Good for me. Shoot off at the mouth. Since I know this situation close and personal, I would say this. It's not the same. It's not the same. Here's a couple of reasons why it's not the same. Here's the first reason why it's not the same. Yeah, she was doing all that touring and all that good stuff. You know what I thought she did when I met her? Thought she was an officer. Period, point blank. So everybody doesn't know that you're this. Even when we moved here, some of these people at this table just found out in the past 2 years what you did. So it's not the same thing. Everybody knows who Aisha Curry is. Nobody knew who you were.
True, I can see that.
That's my first point. The second point is this.
Trey, go blow your nose.
Ew. Blow your nose, man. And don't trip over my quarter. Sorry, that was weird. Y'all be the same people who want to excuse something like that. For the same people who day in and day out, whether it be on social media, whether it be on a loud ass phone call with your homegirl in the damn bank, wherever place it is, that when it comes to a relationship, the first thing that y'all want to say is, I should be enough.
Right. Right. Exactly. So why
This is
is she
true.
not enough?
So why? My question is this: if y'all, and you know what really pisses me off, the same motherfucking people who throwing the damn men don't understand bullshit and excusing, have every excuse in the world like that. I done seen. I'm gonna tell you, I done seen every last one of y'all put a statement up on Facebook saying the exact same thing. And if I ain't enough for my man, then fuck him. But now that is Aisha Curry saying this. Now all of a sudden, all these women feel what Aisha Curry feeling. What happened to I was enough? What happened to that itch? What happened to I should be enough for my significant other? What did that just go out the window because it was the hot topic for the week? Because that's what it seems like to me. Because there's a whole lot of hypocritical thought process going on, and that's just on this week. But I digress. Maybe it's because I'm a man and I don't understand.
I understand that.
But I try and make our way around the table.
I feel it's like this shit. Why in the fuck would you want a validation from outside niggas anyway? Your home is your company. You married that man for a reason. I can see if she came out and say, oh, he beats me. Oh, he this, he that. I need outside motherfucking tips. All right, fine and dandy. If you're going to air the laundry out, air it all the way the fuck out. You understand what I'm saying? Don't pick and choose. You a whole fucking chef. You got a whole fucking book. You got a whole different audience. He's a superstar, true enough. That's going to be the main light. But you got a whole different audience you can entertain. You understand what I'm saying? So to say some shit like that, and then he said what he was fucking supposed to say. He was supposed to say that shit.
Because it's supposed to look good in public and different in private. Period.
Exactly. Keep your business behind closed doors. Apparently, she didn't do that shit.
He didn't know that she felt that way.
Wait,
not at all. Exactly.
But it's in the motherfucking playoffs. We don't need his mind frame, West Ham. What the fuck?
One before you go.
Hello, Barry.
No, that's not even a hello, Barry.
I thought I said something.
I was just the lack of thought, whether she actually felt that way or not, whether she felt validated or not. All that aside, the lack of thought that she used to say this on the national media at this time, when she has been to many basketball games, she's watched him play since what, high school, college? She knows what basketball players are. You gonna tell me that you're gonna put out a weakness that they can exploit? You think them niggas ain't saying shit to him on the court?
That's how come he played like shit.
But I don't think she thought about it that way.
No,
she should have.
She probably should have, but I do believe that she was probably trying to be, I don't want to say
selfish.
Authentic, but she was probably trying to be real.
Selfish.
You can say that. She was probably just trying to be real, speaking from a woman in her position, and didn't really realize the power of her words.
But the thing,
Because people make mistakes in the media all the time, and
But
it's all about how it's perceived.
I feel like it's like this. It's playoff time. Nobody's talking about her. Roman needs her ego stroke just like a man. So now that it's all about him, she's falling apart. Now, she was used to being, okay, I'm going to step back and let him do his thing. Now she feel like, okay, this been going on year after year. They're ignoring me now. So, right. So who knows? He may not be telling her, you know, I love you, you're beautiful at home during playoff time. And now she feeling like I'm getting neglected too. So she reaching out.
But you just said a major statement. I love you, you're beautiful. I love you, thank you. Not even thank you, but I consider you. People don't understand the power of the words when it comes to the other person that is also in that relationship with them. We don't know what's going on. We don't know. I got you. We don't know what's going on behind closed doors. So we don't know if Seth is doing those things. If they're doing those things to each other. Sorry. If they're doing those things to each other. However, I think, and sometimes in a marriage, you forget that you still need to make those statements to your partner, whether it's female, male, whoever, woman, male, but what have you, that those statements are they hold true.
As his wife, you got to know, you can't say no shit like that now. You've been through too many playoff scenarios to know I can't get your judgment. You know better. You know better. She bet against him in 6.
She bet against him in 6. If Golden State go down, she bet against him in 6. She get paid. Watch what I tell you.
Go ahead, bro. I know you got to talk. Oh yeah, I do.
okay, so look, she's not jealous of Seth. Just like we all know, it's playoff time. She's not jealous of Seth. Since Golden State's first championship run, who is the only person who has gotten more looked at than any player on Golden State?
Steph and her?
Who?
The baby.
Damn Riley. Right, yeah, the baby. If she's jealous of anybody, she's jealous of Riley because even when it's playoff time, it ain't about her. It's about what
Riley.
Okay. Actually, please.
No.
Man, I got a billion thoughts. But rule number one, especially in that kind of environment where you have that kind of social status, the first thing you do if you feel that way, you talk to your significant other. That's where everything crumbles almost in a relationship. If you feel a certain way, it's all about being honest. And if you're in that kind of highlighted position, you definitely check with your significant other before you make a statement in public. And then it goes away. My second point is normally I'd be on some intellect, but I'm going to get pimp with you. Let's flip the script. There are hundreds of thousands of men who have women who are working in the exotic industry. And they may go to the club and pick their wife up. And they see them dancing and drinks on them and everything else. Can you imagine the outrage and the clowning that would occur if that dude got online and shared his emotions off? Then I'm feeling bad. If I can get the same attention my wife did when she get dogged on that.
Career crash.
Yeah. So basically, it boils down to that significant point. Regardless of how she was feeling, she should have been talking to her husband, not the world.
Yep.
Mr. Jones.
Yep.
Now, Tanisha Thomas said, put your damn hand down, Buster.
Fuck
And-
you. What up, Tanisha? That just let me know, please, can I go next? I went
And
to school.
she did say that she wasn't thinking about the playoffs. She was with a group of women sharing her insecurity.
On TV.
That just so happened to be an open platform.
Can I answer that before you go?
Go ahead.
Ms. Thomas. One, this isn't her first rodeo. She is a public personality She is a public personality.
She knew it was playoffs.
She knew it was the playoffs. One, she knew it was the playoffs. Two, they even mentioned the playoffs on the show.
They get that itinerary.
They mentioned the playoffs on the show. They did our itinerary. She was just in the playoffs last year, year before. If you, like, okay, let's say me and you, and me and my significant other are both public personalities, which both Steph and her are both public personalities. One of the first things you learn as being a public personality, especially once you've been a public personality as long as they have, are things that you should and should not say. And the catastrophe that can be brought about upon you for uttering things without thought. Now, I'm not saying she doesn't. She has a right to feel however the fuck she wants to feel. She has that right. No one is denying that. She could express her feelings however she chooses. But it takes a lack of thought. Once again, just like I said, she might not have been being malicious. It was a lack of thought, or even better so, a lack of consideration. One, you are still in a partnership. You are still married. You are still in the partnership. Now, whether you have some issues with Steph or not, we don't know that. What we know is you tout to the world y'all's perfect family life. Then you come on TV and say you want attention from other men. And then, not only did you do that, you did it during the playoffs when they can use that, all these other men, and you know they can use that against him. So now he has to come on TV or go on social media and defend you, whether he actually believes that or feels that way or not.
I think two of the biggest things that are missing out of this situation is one, nobody knows for sure that Steph knew. The way he played Game 6, and as long as it took for him to actually say something about it, tells me that he doesn't know. Because I'm a man, y'all women wouldn't understand that shit.
Oh, that man.
Well, but more importantly, number two, this is really the thing about it that really kicks me. That wasn't even much the question that she was asked. If you look at the video, I don't care what happened at the end of the video, how y'all try to misconstrue if that's not what she tried to say. The point is that wasn't even much the question that was asked of her. The question that was asked of her is, how does she deal with Steph having all these women throwing themselves at her? Steph curved a chick in the middle of a finals game.
National
on national TV.
Because he don't give a fuck about the other
right. So how do you even much get there? And that wasn't even much the question that was asked. Nobody was asking her feelings about how she felt about how dudes don't look at her. Nobody asked her that. That wasn't even much the point of the question.
Right. Now, what point that I was going to point out, and it's going to be very different from what y'all know me to be. I'm going to actually be the devil's advocate in the whole thing. Because a good valid point was brought up in the whole week that we don't know what goes on behind those closed doors. She may be one of them chicks that got one of those husbands that controlling, very controlling. Like the time when they were at the beach, had her in a whole goddamn robe. She looking sad as mother. And he was just calm and playing. You know, what the hell are you doing at the beach in a robe? Is it something that your husband wanted you to wear? Because he don't want you to get that male attention? Maybe he's that controlled. See, these are some points that the women have spoke up about, but you know, it's just too much to actually calculate because you can put it out there as a conspiracy, but like you said, it was said on national TV.
Who wants to take it?
You want this?
I mean, to your point, again, like you said, she was seen publicly in a robe at the beach. Maybe she had gained a pound or two. And she knew she was going to be photographed. I always play the middle, and I'm just saying we can say that maybe it's because Steph didn't want her to show her body, or maybe she didn't feel like she wanted to show her body. You know what I mean? Sometimes as a woman, you feel confident to do something, and then sometimes you don't. Maybe she wasn't having a good day. It's kind of like having a bad hair day. You know what I mean? So it can be flipped many different ways. There's still things that we don't know, and I think sometimes we assume. Not saying that we're assuming, but sometimes we assume something is one way because that's what we visually see. Like right now, it's just like when you're looking at somebody having a conversation, but behind a glass door, you have no idea what they're talking about, but you can assume 50 different million conversations based off of their body language and their hand gestures. So with that being said, I understand what you're saying about playing devil's advocate. Maybe he may be a little controlling, or maybe he's not. But at the end of the day, she did go on the red table and she said something that now she's publicly being scrutinized for doing so. And I really believe that she didn't go off script. Maybe she had a script that she was going to say, because there are questions that are asked. They tell you the questions that are going to be asked, and they give you the opportunity to prepare what you're going to say. Or maybe it was just something that just came right off the head, right off the cuff, and it wasn't really thought through, like we said before. Okay. I mean, I don't really think that she sat down in the dressing room while she was getting her hair done and getting her makeup prepped. Oh, I'm gonna say this. I doubt that, just based off of the way that it came out. Because who would purposely throw themselves in a line of fire to be scrutinized unless, as they say, all bad or good publicity is publicity.
That is true. It does.
So,
controversy sells.
Right. Because right now
she was seeking attention.
Because right now I'm sure
she got
and it's the
Shout
same
out
thing.
to Kodak Black.
It's the same thing. The Kardashians do it all the time, especially Kim. She walks out in the outfit and then she acts like she forgot something and she walks back in. It's all publicity.
Okay, can I go there?
One
I got two. I got
one more.
Because I was about to address both of them.
This came from Angel Adams.
I was about to address that.
Just because a woman expressed she would like attention. Now men want to act like they don't want the attention. The work and effort the woman goes to for their man and self to keep their self up. And it's my God.
I'm going. I got this.
Okay.
I got this. Please finish. Go ahead.
The work and effort the woman go to for their man and themselves to keep their self up. Men and women like attention. What woman want her man to get a lot of attention from groupies? She may want her some groupies too. So he will know how she feels, or maybe he does not give her attention.
I got this. I'm chopping out that 50 years. I'm chopping out that. Are you finished? That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
All right. First off, Angel. Well, one. I'm sorry.
Hey, baby.
No.
White time, man.
Oh, now I'm about to say nigga. Now, first off, before I get there, Tanisha also commented. She said that she wants to be desired. Okay, we'll take that into consideration. Now, to Angel's comment, that is bullshit.
I agree.
And fuck that bullshit. Because for one, she's asking for attention. She's asking for it. She just basically went on TV and waved the white flag and said, men hop in my motherfucking inbox. Steph ain't out there asking for it, at least not where we can see. He's a goddamn basketball player. He got the attention because he can go on the goddamn court and shoot, which is the same reason you got that goddamn TV show and you got that goddamn whatchamacallit. Not saying that you cannot get things on your own, but we ain't gonna be sitting here and bullshit and say you didn't market being Miss Curry into a clothing line and some other shit. Now you're gonna see, and then you're gonna sit here and act like don't no man get in your inbox, don't no man tell you, get the fuck out of here. She is not ugly. She ain't no ugly woman.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Exactly. Even the I don't want to say the ugliest woman, but even the woman that has challenges gets attention.
You're talking about the
women get attention. I'm not even gonna lie. I get attention all the time. Happened just on Friday. I literally was at Circle K.
Let's go find that nigga.
Okay. But the thing about it is, the difference is I told my husband I would never put you in a position where you feel like you need to defend me, whether we're in a club and you go get a drink, whether you go to the bathroom. I always believe in, I never want to damage a man's ego. And some women,
She don't want me to kill nobody.
That too. Some women, I will admit, some women like to play with it. I'll agree. Okay? But I never want a man to feel like they have to come back at me in a foul way. I will say, hey, yes, how you doing? I'm well. What's your name? My name is Sherry. Nice to meet you. And I will let them know real quickly, just so that you're aware, I do have a husband, or at the time I do have a fiance or a boyfriend who just stepped off to get a drink. But I appreciate you, finding, wanting to say hi or what have you. I don't go through the whole, excuse me. I don't do none of that. However, happened. I was at Circle K, just getting off work Friday. Today is Sunday. Friday, 2 days ago. Guy came out. This chick was walking out with her son. And the one thing that I heard him say, and I walked out before she did. The one thing I heard him say to her was, "But are you happy?" Ooh, that's what he said to her. And I'm gonna tell you, this happens to me all the time. All the time. All the time. He said, "But are you happy?" So I automatically knew what he was saying to her as she continued to walk off. He was parked directly next to me. And my window was down a little bit because, I lit my cigarette. And he was like, "Do you have a man?" I said, "I do have a husband." Same thing. And I continued to, and it had nothing to do with whether he was fine, whether he was attractive, or whether he was not attractive. The difference is, every day there's going to be
that nigga was fine?
Every day there's going to be a temptation, okay? Every day we have to die to the temptation. You have to die to the temptation. If you are committed to someone, there is always going to be someone who may find interest in you and give you that little of attention where they look at you, and if you give them a look back as though you're interested as a woman, then a man will feel he will, and some, even if you don't give them a look back, they will still approach you. I do it all the time. I give them a look like I'm not interested. And sometimes they still approach me, and sometimes I don't even give them a look because I don't even see them. And it's like, "Hey, shorty," or "Hey, ma'am, you're very beautiful. How you doing?" "I'm doing fine." It happens all the time. But it's all about, I don't either. But it's all about what you do with it. It's all about what you do with it. When you get to the point where you pull out your phone and you give him your number, then that is going across the line. You see the line, then you cross the line.
I gotta read some
You
comments.
know
Okay.
if that's what you
And while you
choose to
read
do.
some comments.
So that's my feeling on attention. Women get attention all the time. Men get attention all the time.
Yeah, there's a big difference. There's a big
She
difference.
invited people to cross the line.
Now she did.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we have women all over America
says,
who
I
always
think you
come at
guys
us about not being
read
loyal
into
and
all her
not succumbing to temptation. And she's out there waving the invitation to come on national TV to at least for all the attempts and appearances that she both herself takes place in.
Please,
But did she say,
please.
I wish and I want men to give me the same attention that they give sex. Did she say that?
Yes,
Yeah.
I want someone to I'm gonna say she said.
Can you pull up what she said? Okay, so look, this is what she said. She said, "I have my insecurities because I don't get that type of attention from men." They went on about it. Jada made it perfectly clear because everybody wants to dang on talk about what she said at the end about, "But I don't want it." Yes, you do. But Jada said it perfectly clear. First of all, you beautiful. Men all over looking for you. In so many words, Jada pretty much said, "Motherfuckers respect your fucking husband, so y'all in damn marriage. So nobody's gonna freaking step that line with you." But more importantly,
But you just gave the outpour to let somebody step up to you now.
more importantly, the last thing that Jada Smith said to her was, "The most important person in your world notices you and gives you your attention, and that's your husband. Period. Point blank. I gotta read some comments real quick. So, like, Kamika, what up, Kamika? How you doing? I'm sorry I ain't shout out everybody who came on, but shout out to all y'all. So, Kamika said, I personally don't want a man women ain't looking at or desiring.
Okay.
True story, because that.
But you want him to wave the flag to invite them to come holler?
She didn't say that.
So you want
Akita says, I think you guys all read into her comment wrong and just ran with it because everything y'all saying is not what she said. But I just said what she said, and it's still bullshit. Period, point blank. And it's so much bullshit that, one, the question was not even much asked about how she felt about attention for herself. Two, Jada Pinkett shut that shit the fuck down for her because Jada done been through some shit with his fucking will. So, and everybody know that, I don't know, maybe at one point in time everybody understand what having a little, like, hey, Jada Pinkett fine as hell. Okay, so
I
yeah.
think they have an open marriage.
Everybody thinks that they have an open marriage. They don't. They don't. But you want to know what's so great about that? You want to know what's so great about that? Don't nobody fucking know because ain't neither one of them goddamn doing the shit in fucking public. They doing the shit in fucking private. Boom.
I got a comment. We have a response from Miss Angel again.
Yes.
The only BS that men hate when women express their opinion once because it's not all about the man.
I don't know.
She turned She turned the question around from being about her husband to being about her. Get over it. Bottom line, they are still together. One, whether they are still together or not, is not the point. That has nothing to do with it.
Zero.
And honestly, we don't know that the very fact that she said that could be the very beginning of the end on either side for whatever reason she said.
Camel that breaks.
I mean, we're going to assume some things. We can assume. I can take assumptions in 1,000 different directions. Two, we didn't say she couldn't express her opinion. We didn't say she couldn't say how she feels. But what we did say is she shouldn't have came on national TV saying this specific feeling. Yeah. This specific feeling, if she was going to address it to anybody, she should have addressed it to her husband at motherfucking home. Not on TV, inviting, because I don't give a damn what y'all think she meant. I don't give a damn what y'all feel she meant. I can tell you what men all over America say she meant. Except for that means I can shoot my motherfucking shot.
Except for them onesies and twosies.
Shoot the club.
There are them onesies and twosies that I hate the motherfucking death.
We got some Derek Jacksons out there.
Them damn Derek Jackson motherfuckers who think that just because they agree with the goddamn shit that the damn females bullshit saying, that they're gonna get some pussy. That's the only reason that they agreeing with y'all ladies. Y'all
got some Derek Jacksons out there, but the overwhelming.
But at the same time, here's the thing about that. You can't expect
what you was trying to do.
You can't sit here and every time a man says something that he feels, it happens every day on Facebook.
Oh, you on phone?
I'm telling you.
You can't. Everybody sees it every day. There'll be a post that a female puts up, and there's nothing but females co-signing on whatever stupid ass post it is. And as soon as a dude says something that's the opposite of that shit, y'all do the exact same thing that we doing to Aisha Curry right fucking now.
Eat his ass up.
Eat his ass the fuck alive. So it's not the problem. Isn't that we disagreeing with. At the end of the day, for me right now, at this point, the problem is that there are too many freaking women who pissed off that we doing the same thing they fucking do every goddamn day. Every time some dude says some shit that we disagree with on their own little fucking post, their feelings and what the fuck ever else. Because we ain't doing nothing different that happened on fucking Facebook and damn Instagram and Twitter every fucking damn day. There's no difference. The only difference is that y'all feel hurt about it.
Y'all just do it differently.
I did.
Y'all do it. Y'all just do it in the end.
Yeah, we keep it real.
Okay.
That's it.
We keep it real.
And one.
Wait. I wanted to address that last comment. The comment was kind of counterproductive. Because if she actually used that validation that they were still together, what's perplexing me while this whole scenario is, if you have a man that has 1 million women that want it, but you are the one who laying down with it, why isn't that your validation that you're the best? Because if he has 1 million choices and he's choosing to be with you, that should be your strength. Is that no matter how many women want him, he would meet. And that should be the self-defeating stigma that's going on today. If a woman says she doesn't need a man for validation, why is she looking for validation by having a lot of men talking?
Exactly.
Now,
But that's because women use that excuse that we staying together for the kids, so it's easy for them to say some shit like that.
okay. Shout out to Jessica Combs. She viewed into the show. She had a comment. The woman had how many kids back to back? Having children changes a woman's body. Maybe she feels like her husband feels obligated to show her attention and tell her she's attractive. The woman just wanted some validation that she is still attractive. He also has millions to lose if he leaves her. Let me tell you something. It don't fucking really. Okay, done. That poster is out. That poster is out. Okay, done. It don't fucking matter about your validation. Why are you saying it on national television during the time that your husband is actually going through the most challenging playoff? He got his opponents giving him the chicken job, like, hey,
I'm gonna get my anxious.
I'm in your wife's DM. Dunking over his ass.
You getting the Kevin Durant, your wife smell like Cheerios.
You're creating the black hole of your relationship right now. Doing it on TV. Talk that shit in your house.
Fuck that. That comment right there. That comment right there. Who said that shit?
Jessica Combs.
Jessica Combs. I don't even want to show you. And I don't even want you to take this personally. Well, I'm going to say this. Just based off of that comment right there, I know this about you.
Oh, shit.
You lack the proper way of communicating. Because there's no way that you can say that. It's that time. This was that one.
Hi, America. Because this is about to go ugly. This is Chris, and we're gonna go ahead and get my disclaimer out of the way. The views and opinions of one person does not expressly reflect the views and opinions of Live from the Dark Side, even if I happen to agree with it.
Okay, let me
So
say this.
read it again. Read that shit again. Read it again.
The woman had how many kids back to back? Having children. How many children changes a woman's body?
I don't know. Ask Beyonce.
Maybe she feels like her husband feels obligated to show her attention.
Did she ask him?
And tell her she's attractive.
Did she ask him? Did she have that conversation with him?
But
for you to use that as a validation of that shows that you don't even much think that they communicate right.
She
but you know
opened
what?
up so many holes.
But again, I got you, Jess. I got you. But again, who knows? Maybe she did say something to him. Maybe she did say, I'm saying, hypothetically, maybe she did say, hey,
I'm gonna go on TV and fuck up your shit for the next 6
Your game is gonna be terrible.
But the thing about it is, how many times do just think about it, guys, okay? Just step outside the box for a minute. Sometimes a woman can go to her husband, and sometimes a man can go to his wife and say, hey, I don't feel that you're showing me enough attention, or I don't feel that you tell me, I have to tell you I love you first, or you may not say, if I say I love you, you're like, okay. You never know if she actually said something to him and it just happened to come out, something that she feels, I'm not going to say that this is what she did feel, but it just happened to come out that way. She may have never said, I need validation from you because all these women are always all over you. However, who knows if he is giving her that special attention? We are not behind closed doors. We don't pull sheets with them. We don't, I get what you're saying, Cole, but what I'm saying is we don't know that. I don't really think that she was looking for the validation, okay? As you guys are saying, you're married to the man. That should be valid enough because you're together. I'm not saying that she was looking for it because, again, we really don't know if it was really something that she meant to come out the way that it did come out.
How can you say she's that? She said it.
She said it.
She said it. It came out of her mouth.
You never said something.
She segued into a debate about her.
Okay, have you ever said something and then realized, okay, you know what, maybe that didn't come out right?
She didn't correct it. She didn't correct it.
No,
Matter of fact, she came back and doubled down on it.
No. She did. She did when she said, "But I don't want it." But she's supposed to say that.
That's not a
She's supposed to say that. She's saying that.
So why are we only looking at it as like you said this and we're not adding the end portion of it?
No, I did.
And she said, "But I don't want it."
No, I did.
She was just making a statement at the time.
Here we go. I'm Damian Lillard and you're Steph Curry.
Oh, okay. Let's go.
I'm about to hit this shot just like I took that shot at your wife. Oh!
Okay, good. Well,
It's David Barry.
I'm gonna ask all of you this question. Has your girlfriend, fiance, or someone said something to you because at that moment that's what they're feeling? You took it into consideration, but didn't necessarily act on it or continue to act on it, even though she told you, hey, I need a little bit of attention. Right now, we all know relationships supposed to be 50-50. Sometimes it's, 80-20.
No, not according to
Sometimes, well, I'm just saying, I'm supposed to give you just as much as you give me. However, sometimes it's like, oh yeah, well, baby, you look beautiful today, or oh, you look cute today, or what? I'm just saying. I'm just throwing that out.
Well,
there.
we do that. You know how we do it? You know how we do it? We say, don't get your ass beat today.
No.
How does that help?
Don't get
Help me
your ass beat going out. It's like that. Don't get fucked up.
Mr. Williams.
You know what? Okay, I'm gonna throw myself out there. I'll say, Cole, I love you. You better.
But that's y'all thinking y'all.
But God, I also understand. Right. Or I'll say something and he said, well, I ain't killed you yet. However, I have had this conversation with him like, hey, when I say X, Y, and Z to you, this is what I need. It's not about how you feel it should come out. It's about what I need because I'm giving it to you this way. This is about what I need from you. I don't need that type of comment. I need this type of comment.
So you need him to, okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Okay. So you need him to say it in order for you to validate.
No, she needs me to say it.
Okay, wait a minute.
I'm saying, okay, for shits and giggles.
Okay.
Just like you said, Cole, I love you. I ain't killed you yet. You need him to say, I love you too, in order for you to validate that he loves you.
I'm not saying that. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I don't need the validation, but what I am saying is sometimes when like y'all all try to say women are such emotional creatures, but if you know that, then go the extra step.
They need
because they're going the extra step, right?
But
they're going the extra
right.
step.
A marriage is working constantly. You have to work on a marriage at all times.
Correct.
And those things happen. The problem here, it goes on in my marriage, but you'll never know about it because it's not in public. This shit here is worldwide now. That's the problem. It's okay that she wants to be loved. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But you don't tell the world. I tell my son, though, will go on that 2329, stay at 2329. Facts. That's the problem. Mm-hmm. That's the problem. Why does the world know about it? Ain't no wrong with her for feeling like that. It ain't everybody's business.
I agree, and I believe that if she had the opportunity at this moment to probably retract making those statements, that she definitely would. But guess what, guys? We see this happen all the time in different relationships. We were like, why the hell did Kanye do that? Why would they say X, Y, and Z? It happens all the time. If you think about it, if you constantly have a camera in your face, sometimes people will just say what it is that they feel. And granted, it's in the wrong audience because that audience is going to ridicule you. That audience is going to judge you. That audience is also going to speak on it like we're speaking on it now, and it becomes a topic of conversation. But it doesn't necessarily mean that even though she could have left that off the table and said something totally different, we wouldn't be talking about it right now if she did.
Right. But she said it. That's what
Y'all
we're
wanna
talking about.
Y'all want to know my public opinion on the rest of this? Can I have a petty moment?
Sure.
Help yourself. I'll be right back.
Watch out for the wolf.
All right.
So we're having an extended petty moment.
Well, this hella petty.
All right. In the meantime,
I think he might have pissed on this whole situation is what he's saying.
Yeah, I wanted to say something about that last comment that just seemed logical to me right quick. Some stuff you do know goes on behind closed doors because reality presents you with it. She just mentioned that there was baby after baby after baby. So somebody must be attracted to somebody. Otherwise, they wouldn't.
Baby after baby after baby.
So if he's not having outside marriage children and he's dedicated to her and you see these babies, you know that something's at least functional. But the validation that you seek should be in the comfort of knowing the great adversity / the great triumph for any black woman or any woman in a relationship. The validation that at the end of the day, that man treating you and beating you for all practical purposes and intent is healthy. And you're with that person, sometimes it doesn't take. Just like you said with him, there's certain things that y'all might say that you know.
I got something.
After you learn each other, it should be status quo.
All right. What we're gonna do, because I didn't want this.
Oh,
We're gonna give him his petty moment. Prior to going into, well, no, I'm gonna let him have his petty moment. Unless that was your petty moment.
I just pissed out everything that damn woman.
Didn't I say it? Didn't I say it? I said it.
Okay.
I said it.
What I was gonna say is we're not gonna. I didn't want this one topic to run wild, and it did. But
A whole 52 minutes.
yeah, we've been an hour on this one topic.
Motherfucker.
Finish show, motherfuckers.
What I'm going to say is this. One, in response to what you were saying, if maybe she did say something to him and he didn't act on it. That might be true. And whether he acted on it or not, the way to fix the problem, damn sure ain't gonna be going on TV and putting all y'all business out the street.
Yep.
If anything, in most, now maybe there's some kind of progressive relationship. But I know in most
housewives.
in most relationships, this isn't just like I said, this isn't housewives. In most relationships, when one of y'all goes out in public and airs out y'all business, that's not normally a good. There's not normally a good return on said investment.
Depending on the
That is
dude,
not an
like-
investment that gives a good return. Now, with that being said, how I wanted to try to relate this to the actual topic before we stay on this all goddamn night.
Because we can.
I brought this topic up, one, because it was a hot topic, and two, our whole topic of the conversation was relationships. We seem to be having a lot of issues. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to say there aren't good relationships amongst black men and women, but that's not what you hear about more often. What we hear about and see about more often is our relationships failing, and there are various reasons, and what we're rolling into is our take on why some of those reasons are. This particular subject was my take on one of my main reasons on why I personally believe, especially between black men and women, relationships begin to fail is a failure or lack of proper communication. And what I mean by that is she might have said something, he might have said something. They might have communicated, but they couldn't have. With her coming on TV and saying this, they could not have successfully communicated to each other how they both felt. They did that. I just refuse to believe that if she was satisfied with their communication on that matter, I can't see how she was went on TV and said this. I feel like that was a break,
Unsuccessful communication.
Unsuccessful communication. Now, communication is a two-way street. Both men and women got to communicate. We got to communicate with each other. We do not speak the same.
We have to learn.
The number one thing you got to do with communication is to listen, to understand, instead of listening to respond. If you hear it, damn different.
Big ass difference.
But
Even in vibrations to you,
yes, even vibrations. And okay, this is just an example. Just because you mention it and we always mention it, women are emotional creatures, men are logical creatures. And this is just not saying a woman cannot be logical. This is just in the general perspective of if you were to view it Women are a more emotional creature.
So get out your
and a more
feelings.
logical creature. So when a woman, a lot of times a woman will approach you with feelings or concern, and a man sees it logically as a problem to solve, when a lot of times a woman may have just wanted you to listen. That's part of it. And there's a whole bunch of other things that go on with the communication, which is why I brought up the whole Aisha Curry thing in the first place as a segue into relationships. My take on why, one of our main reasons why we can't get along is because we don't talk to each other the right way. We don't talk to each other the right way. We both tend to, when confronted with an issue, feel attacked. And instead of hearing what the actual issue is, and this is on both sides, the woman can come to a man with an issue, and vice versa when a man goes to a woman with an issue. A natural response from both parties is to feel you see something wrong with me. I feel attacked and not hear what you're actually saying.
Defend myself. Defend myself.
Defend myself. And from there, the ball rolls downhill.
Coach.
Okay. Because now it turns into I'm not coming at you like that.
I see you guys.
No, I
I'm sorry. I thought
I like a beer.
I will say this once again before I start passing it back around the table. We are encouraging y'all.
Okay.
Throw your comments in. As you see, we're trying to address each and every comment as it comes. Don't take anything personally. We ain't got no hate for any of y'all. We ain't got no hate for women because believe me, everybody at this table, well, you know what I mean. Basically, okay, you know what I'm saying. We love women. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like we don't like women, but we have issues with each other. We need to address these issues, because if we don't address these issues, it's not just us that suffer, because we're grown. We're going to go on. It's the ones that we're leaving behind us and that we're creating out of these issues that's going to suffer from this stuff.
Chris, I got one interesting comment that
I see it.
could go up.
Okay.
Angel Evans says men are not being men anymore. Women are pushed into men roles in the relationship.
Okay.
Shut up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
He said, ooh.
Excuse me. If just like how y'all been saying that the man don't understand, ain't no woman on this planet can tell me what a real man is, because she ain't never been one. So shut up, because that bullshit.
No, I got you on that. Let me play the devil's advocate on that.
I think that has more to. I'm sorry.
There's more.
I think more what she's saying is that, with her saying that women are being pushed into a man role in the relationship, is probably more so that they're having to take the lead more on talking about a situation. That it may not necessarily be where she's saying, "Oh, I'm putting on the pants, I'm paying the bills, I'm the head of the house," or what have you.
Read the comment. Let's ask her. Read the comment again.
Men are not being men anymore.
First mistake. How you can say men ain't gonna be men? This is the second part where I was gonna add to this topic of relationships. The only time y'all that women say shit like that about men is because they don't have no accountability about the men that they fucking with. Accountability is the key in both sides of a relationship.
I think she's actually talking about
feminization.
I understand that. I got that. I got that.
Okay.
No, I got that. I got that. Why they single? Why they a single mother in a single mother relationship? Because they ain't accountable for the dude that they deal with. They chose that dude.
I have a devil's advocate. I want them to finish.
They choose that dude. Yes, that dude chooses you, but we living in a world right now where, right now in the United States of America, we have how many ever fucking men in Congress are sitting up here trying to tell women what to do with their fucking body when it comes to having an abortion. The governor of Georgia just signed an anti-abortion bill.
You're a murderer.
And you want to know what's so
They got a
fucked up about
heartbeat.
that? Every female, it's not fucked up, but every female that I know of is quick to say that can't no man tell no woman what to do with her body. But at the same time, you want to go fuck some dude raw. You know that he ain't no relationship material. You know he ain't no father material. But what you gonna do? I'm gonna have the baby anyway because I can change him.
2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
And I shot up the club.
But you're not sitting here being accountable for yourself.
Slow the roll.
Devil's advocate.
Come on, devil's advocate.
Slow the roll. Okay. Those things are true. There is a personal accountability aspect in both facets of the relationship. But to her point, and to a certain extent, we all agree that the men ain't the same as like the men that came after us are not the same.
They are not. The
True.
millennials.
True.
It just is. There's a whole bunch of different reasons. I'm not going to. There's a whole bunch of different reasons. There's socioeconomic and all that other stuff.
But those
But
are the reasons.
the very
that you're
fact
gonna
is
use.
the men are not exactly like, okay. I'm close to like my father was, but I'm not my father. I can't do everything my father can do. I don't know everything. I'm not the exact same kind of man my father is. To some ways better, to some ways worse. I believe we can all say that to a certain extent, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I feel like that I am much closer to my father and what he is as a man and what he raised me to be as a man than the young men that are being raised now are to being what we are.
Absolutely.
Part of that is us as men's fault because there aren't fathers in the house.
So
Also, part of that, women's fault. This is a double-edged sword because not only can it be men, it is women because not only are men fucking up, but there are just as many men who aren't with that.
And you're really. Oh shit! Something what the fuck happened? Trying to reconnect. Oh shit!
No!
Oh no! Oh no! Oh fuck! Did we miss that whole thing?
Oh, no.
The broadcast was interrupted.
Oh, we good. We good because we live. I think.
Okay.
I think.
We break it up, but we go up.
Yeah, we good. Okay. So I have no disagreement with your devil's advocate. You're absolutely right about that. Here's where my problem lies with that. That'd be the sprinkler system from there. Here's my problem with that. Everything that you said just now would rarely, because I'm not going to say never, because I know some very logical women out there. Shout out to my logical female friends out there. And depending on the
Where's the motherfucking plug? Y'all wanna go live next week?
I said depending on the day of the week.
You better clean that shit
You bought this shit.
So here's my thing.
We dark.
Everything that you said,
Yeah.
the majority of the females who feel that way ain't going to say everything that you said. They're just going to say the part that brings the man. Because, like I said, it's a problem with accountability first.
But where does that come from?
Where does
That accountability comes from the fact that's all past, that's generational, okay? That means, and what I mean by that is, where we are now, like we say in the United States, is not where we were 10 years ago. And it's not where we were 15 years ago. It has a lot to do with the upbringing, and it has a lot to do with how people are parenting those who are young parents. I mean, if you look at it, just look at it. We've come so far from what we've been used to. We see tampons dancing on the damn TV. When Madonna when she rolled around the American Music Awards, talk about like a virgin, it was like people almost just was gasping. We have come so far from where we were, to where it's really not, the conversation is not being had as it used to be. That conversation of how women are to treat themselves and how they are to raise their children, that conversation is not being had. I feel like our generation, and no fault on you, bro, because you doing your thing. Our generation is one of the last generations that's actually taking responsibility for the children that they're raising. Okay, with that, and we keep pushing the envelope on. We keep pushing the envelope. It always used to be a man could do what he could do on the street. Let a woman do the same thing. She considered a hoe. Now you got your Nicki Minaj's and you got, your Cardi B's and all this other stuff. And now you have these young women who are in their early 20s feeling like, hey, you know what? I can be just like her and say the same shit, but I am lacking the knowledge on how to be an independent woman and get my own and keep my self-respect and not place blame. So there are so many other outside influences that the main influence in the home is what's not there.
Okay, but I'm gonna
Wait.
oh my bad, Archie.
I was going to say one of the main problems with what you just said, and to build off what Chris said, another failing element in a relationship is great expectations. I expect you to be another way. You expect me to be a way, but we don't communicate what we expect from each other. For instance, formative years of children. I don't know how many of my partners heard their mama say, I don't need no nigga. I'm good by myself. Thus programming the female of the gender and the male to grow up thinking they don't need each other, so they don't know what to expect from each other. You may want a man to do a certain thing, but the moment that man turn around and say, this is what I expect you to do, it's that woman said, you can't tell me shit.
You know why that's happening? You know why that's happening? Because the conversation's not happening in the beginning. So let me ask you this question. When all of you decide, you know what, I'm gonna have a birthday party, right? If you have a woman or a fiance or a wife, y'all sit down and y'all talk about who you're inviting. Who we inviting to the party, right? When we got in this relationship, we didn't talk about who we were inviting to the party. We weren't talking about who we're inviting to the altar, who we're inviting into our marriage, and who we're inviting. And that conversation is not had. All that comes afterwards. So when it comes afterwards, now he's learning, oh, I married you and I got to marry your sister and your mother. Those type of things are not happening in the beginning. So when it doesn't happen in the beginning, just like I know who I want to come to my birthday party and who I don't, I'm not telling you, hey, you know what? I'm not big on going to the club. You big on going to the club? Cole can tell you this happened. I told myself I'm really not big on going to the club, but I don't believe in my husband holding up the club walls. So if that's something that you want, then that's not for me. However, however, I said you could go out with your boys, y'all can have fun. Me and you could go out, we can have fun. However, I don't believe that a married man should be in the club every single night, because what you're doing is you're putting yourself in the lines of temptation. That's for me. That may not be for the next woman or the next woman, but those are my expectations. And I state these expectations. So the difference is these expectations, like he said, are not coming in that relationship in the beginning. And so then when he's going and he's holding up the club like he was doing when you guys were dating, now you got a problem. But you should have stated it in the beginning. So since you didn't state it in the beginning, now he's like, oh, wait a minute, you married me like this.
That's how I'm running. You met me on these terms, that's how I'm running.
They are finding out the person that they are with so far down into the relationship after now she's pregnant. Now, maybe she expected to get a ring because she was pregnant, because of what she thought, her dream of her Barbie house. She didn't tell him her dream of how she wanted that Barbie house.
So I'm gonna say this. One thing I don't hear y'all. I got y'all. I hear all of that. The one thing that y'all, and I know that the topic of relationships, and I get that, but there are a lot of our viewers who are not in relationships right now. And they're not in relationships or in situationships. And they're in those predicaments because they don't think like that.
That's a made up.
And there's a way bigger majority of them who don't think like that and don't look at it like that. And the thing that really, really irks me about it, besides the fact that they feel so entitled to say some of the things that they say, is that they take away from men like Quay. They take away from men like Pooh. They take away from men like IQ. They take away from men like Marge. I don't really know if I can say Ronald because I don't know when you had your first child. I didn't have mine until I was 33. However, I done took. If you really want to get rigid with it, I got 5 kids. 2 from my first marriage, who are stepdaughters, and 3 right now. 3 boys. So I got. If you want to look at it, I got 5. So I don't take it personal, but you taking them away. You taking away from me. You taking away from my brother. What do all these men have in common? All these men took care of what they were supposed to take care of when it came to their kid. Regardless of the baby mother, however bitter or not bitter that she was.
Yes.
No matter of whether
Been there.
you moved, no matter if you was married and then got divorced, no matter any of those situations, every time a woman says some negative aspect about a man being this, that, and the other, and whatever negative light that they want to put it in, it takes away from all these great. We're sitting in a room right now with, and I ain't even much going to count myself, 6 great men who do what they're supposed to do. Period, point blank. And y'all take away from every last one of them every time y'all say that shit.
Now, to be fair, we do the same shit. You know, when we get on, and of course,
I don't know. I can't wait.
Well, what I'm saying is, of course, we get to speaking in generalities. We get to speaking in generalities, and so when I speak, I take my audience to. I assume my audience has the intelligence to know that I don't mean all women. I'm talking when I'm speaking in general. These are the general things that I am seeing. These are the general mindsets and actions that I see. That doesn't mean because there are exceptions to everything.
So look, I can't see y'all comments on the live feed because it's having technical difficulties. But I know that the live feed is still going because I got it on my watch party. So I need y'all to go to my watch party, Quest watch party, Crew's watch party, and if y'all got y'all comments, y'all go ahead and throw them on those because I can't see that.
Speaking on that, I do have some comments. One, we were buffering. Thank y'all for staying with us. Thanks, appreciate that. Miss Ivory Jones, she said a lot of these things are happening because of learned experiences.
Yeah.
And I can agree a lot of these things are happening from learned experiences, but the problem is, how do we unlearn? I mean, like, you're supposed to learn from your experience. So, okay, if you met a dude and that dude did you bad, that doesn't mean you learn that all dudes are going to do that same thing that dude did. You know what I mean? And same thing for guys. You met a girl and she did you dirty. That doesn't mean every girl is going to do you dirty, or the very next girl that you pick is going to do you dirty. Yes. I'm not saying don't keep your wits about yourself. I'm not saying don't keep your defenses up. But when you submit that wall around yourself, you leave no real option for anyone to get in. You built that wall around yourself, and that wall is, this has happened to me before. Well, tough luck. I mean, and what I mean by that is, if you have made it to the age of an adult, you have been dating, then you have had some fucked up shit happen to you. That's part of dating.
Well, the problem with that is that men do it and women do it. They're not emotionally available to go into that next relationship. So that's where we get with the baggage. Like your walk.
You're holding the next man accountable for what the last man.
But what the last man did. So really, you thought that you were emotionally available or ready, and you weren't. We know that women do it and men do it. They get into relationships and they're really not emotionally ready to get into that relationship. Not only that, if you take it one step further, when they get into that relationship, like we said, that man is paying for the previous man's mess ups. Or women, both sides. So what ends up happening is like, oh, I'm not emotionally ready, but I don't want to lose this person because I know that they're a good person and I may not get that chance again. But you really wasn't ready. So then when you got in it, you kind of messed it up because you weren't ready for it. You know what I mean? And so sometimes through growth of the relationship, maybe there's some healing that happens, and then the relationship thrives, and then sometimes it doesn't. It doesn't end up thriving, and it's just another doomed relationship that a child came from, and now they're stuck in the middle dealing with that situation because of something that really happened with the previous person that they were with. So now you have a product of a relationship because you were not emotionally ready.
That so goes right back to communication.
Exactly.
If you don't say, look, this where I'm at now. This motherfucker fucked me over. This where I'm at. I'm still not over that. If you want to get a shot, it's on you. You're not saying that. You're putting yourself out there as if you're available when you're not.
So let me give you one more. I believe, and this is just my belief, and I don't mean that you take y'all on board or block anyone's comments. I believe that a man is more willing to take on that task.
Right.
If a woman would be honest that that's where she's at.
I agree.
I believe a man will not necessarily really tell a woman that's where he's at. It'll be no. It'll just be I ain't trying to get in a relationship right now. And so now she's trying so hard to make a relationship with somebody who don't want one, instead of really coming clean and saying, hey, I got these issues and I really need to work on these issues for myself. I need to work on me. A man, because men have, and I'm just, like you said, I'm just generalizing. I feel like there's so much pride in a man to feel that they can take it all on, even though they know that they're really not ready. They'll just be like, I just want to date. I just want to go out there and I just want to fuck. And have this girl and that girl, instead of being truthful with themselves in regards to what is going on with them. Or maybe they don't even know it.
But you're looking at it. A woman may need to do the same thing. If I'm telling you I'm not ready, you need to listen.
But that's what I said. If a woman comes to a man and tells him those words, he'll be like, you know what? I'll wait for you.
Then that's his choice. You're giving him that option.
I'm giving him that option, exactly. I'm saying men are more susceptible, in my opinion, to wait if a woman comes with the honest to God truth about that's where she's at, right, versus the opposite. I'm not saying that a woman won't, but I have seen very few do. Because it's like now, it's like, okay, but he's going out, he's hanging out, and he's doing this, and he has this friend and that friend, and he claims that it's platonic. But I'm sitting here and I'm waiting on him. I'm just saying, I think that is opposite.
This is gonna allow me to make a little segue.
Joel is hurt.
Shut up. On the same topic.
What? I can't help it. You got poked in the eye.
He got poked.
Oh, here we are.
Good.
A segue based off of some of the things that were just discussed between Mr. Wheeler and Ms. Cole. This goes out to both women and men.
Them.
To all. Y'all can't change nobody.
Take people for who they are. If a motherfucker gonna show you who they are.
If they want to change, they'll change. A person is only going to change when they want to change. So I don't give a damn how well you think you're taking care of them, how well you think you're meeting their needs, or how well you think you're providing for them. They're not going to change who they are unless they want to.
Yes.
So what you're saying is love can't make you adjust.
It can,
but if you
you're
choosing to change. But if I don't want to change, I'm not gonna try. But if I'm in love with whoever, yeah, I'm gonna try to change to make that shit work because that's what I'm choosing to do. But if I'm telling you I don't want to be in a relationship. You can't change my mind. That's on me to change my mind.
Right. So what the whole thing falls down to is that adjustment that I was just talking about. It kind of like it creates that loophole. It's like an ongoing. It's like a revolving door.
Right.
It's like, okay, you want to be with someone, but you can't adjust your ways. But the only way that you can actually be in a relationship is if you're willing to adjust.
Right.
Can I get in this?
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Can I get in this?
Okay.
See, I believe I'm gonna spin off you, Ron. I'm gonna spin off you. I believe you should allow that person to change if they wanted to. It has nothing to do with if I love you or not, because the way I love you doesn't dictate what I do. Meaning, regardless, if you let me doing this, I'm gonna do this till I feel I don't want to do it no more. And that got nothing to do with how I love you. You get what I'm saying? Because my love for you gonna be unconditional, regardless of the fact. You know what I'm saying? But it's gonna have to be a compromise within myself if I want to change. Long as it doesn't hurt what we have going on, what I do, if I decide to change, shouldn't dictate how I love you. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but if you're in a relationship or a marriage, you're going to change because you want it to work. Whether you like it or
no
not,
how much you're
going to compromise. You're going to change. Both sides have to if it's going to work.
So what happens in that relationship? What happens when it doesn't lock in? When it doesn't? Cause see, it's like tumbles in a lock, right?
Know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, and know when to goddamn run.
Oh, it's not damn. If I come in the house, you can't game no, and I'm a fucking gamer. That's just like saying
kick rocks.
You know,
going into a relationship, she got to know that and accept that.
Oh, how many sisters did I have when we met?
that won't change.
Oh, okay.
So basically, the relationship can't be a lot tumble.
Well, see, that's the whole point. See, we have a lot of relationships that are going on that aren't actually relationships. They're just perpetrating a lie amongst themselves.
No.
Let's keep it real. You already know that you don't trust this person. You already know that whenever this person talks on the phone or walks out the door or goes in the other room, you feel some kind of way. You already know, like relating to the first episode, relating to the first part of the show, if that person throws a like on somebody's comment or a heart on somebody else's picture, you already on it. You assuming shit. You going left with it, and you say and that works both ways for men and women. If you're doing all these things already, there's already issues. There's already unaddressed issues, and if you haven't addressed those issues, moving forward is just a lie. It's just a lie. You're both lying, or the one who's withholding lying, which is also another thing in communication. Because a lot of times, both men and women will see things they have an issue with, just don't feel like fucking arguing. Just tired of arguing. I know if I bring this up again, we about to get into it. So you know what? I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm gonna chill. But what you do, you don't. Yeah, you say agree to disagree, but you don't actually agree to disagree. That agreeing to disagree turns to resentment.
Yeah. But now we ain't talking about it.
Now we ain't talking about it, but you still doing the shit. And every time you do the shit, I'm sitting here once again inside. See,
that's where that communication comes into people. And people neglect a major part of communication. They ain't just talking. You gotta listen. People do a lot of talking, but don't like listen. Say it all the time. God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth because you're supposed to listen twice more than what you're talking. People don't do that. That's a problem. That's a problem in a relationship. You always want to force yours, but you don't want to hear what the other person saying. You have to be willing to listen. You have to be willing to compromise if you want to be in any type of relationship.
And you got to be able to take criticism. And you can't just be the one giving it if you ain't willing to accept.
Right. Me and my wife did a little class at UGA a long time ago called Promote Strong African American Families. And they told us 75% of arguments will never be solved. Shouldn't be solved, shouldn't even try to solve. Should let it go. Not a relationship, just let it go. Agreeing to disagree, but you have to let it go. If you don't let it go, you say, it's gonna turn to that resentment. Mm-hmm. Let it go. You have to learn. If you gonna say, okay, you got your opinion, I got mine, I ain't changing, you ain't changing, okay. In the discussion, we ain't gonna talk about this no more, because we know it's gonna go on. You gotta let it go.
But you still got to figure out, because if y'all got an issue, you still got to figure out the workaround.
You got to figure out how
Yeah,
to meet
you
them.
got to
Yes,
work.
you do.
Yeah, got to figure out
You have
something.
to, you have to have that.
Definitely, if you don't, it's just gonna spiral down the goddamn drain.
All right, we got a comment from
That's it.
we got a comment from Royal Range.
Okay.
She say, when you commit yourself to someone, it's no longer just you. It's no longer just you. You got to move differently. You can't always do the same thing you did as a single man or woman.
Nope. Sure.
You cannot.
Hell, when I was single, I could leave clothes all over the goddamn house. You can't do that when you're in a relationship. Get on your shit. Where's all this shit? All over the floor. What is
I think that has a lot to do with where a lot of relationships go downhill, because you do have people who are in a relationship but still living a single life.
Yes.
And they're acting as though they are single.
Yeah.
And so they may not even see it. They may not see it at all. So that's why you have to police yourself. You do absolutely have to police yourself. And it's just like, I mean, like, no lie, like when me and Cole got together, it was like once we were together, I just deleted everybody who was a male in my phone. Like, it was like, there's no need for me to talk to you no more. If I thought that you had any type of like to Charity, you were done.
So you mean once you decided you wanted this man, right?
Right.
You didn't want the attention from all those
Right.
other men.
I literally deleted everybody. But the intern was I no longer had even platonic relationships, because I did not want anything to come between us.
Or
Even
risk
if
to jeopardize.
it was a platonic relationship, I didn't want him to think.
Because that could cause those could cause.
I didn't want him to think. Hold up, I didn't want him to think. Don't.
It's
Listen
not.
to what I'm saying.
I'm listening.
I didn't want him to think that, or even just slightly, like the small as a mustard seed, think that there was anyone that I was talking to as a friend that it could turn into something else. I cut everybody off. And you know what? Maybe that wasn't smart for me, but I did that, not just for myself, but for him, because I also knew where I was in my career as well. Mm-hmm. But in turn, I didn't tell him that. You know what I mean? But I expected, you sat down now? Yeah. I expected, this is Charity 10 years ago, I expected him to do the same thing. And that didn't happen. So I had to learn how to maneuver, because I did an expectation that I did not communicate and didn't talk to him about it. And that's where I learned, like, hey, we got to have these conversations. So I would then know exactly that, hey, you know what? I know for a fact my husband is a social butterfly. Y'all see him all over Facebook. He's a social butterfly. Okay? If
just flapping his motherfucking wings on Facebook all the
goddamn
time.
And so, you know, I'm not gonna lie. I'll be very honest. I went through the checking your phone thing. I went through all of that. I went through checking the phone bill, the motherfucker in my name. Yeah, I'm gonna check the damn bill. Check the bill. I'm on the road. I'm spending weeks and weeks away from home. So my whole thing was like, how is it that you texting and talking back and forth to this person this many times? Ain't that much fucking shit to talk about? You know what I mean? I'm just being honest. Then if you ain't talking to your woman, ain't that much shit to talk about. You know what I mean? And however, now I can tell you who, what, or what have you, because it ain't even about that anymore. But see, I had to police myself and say, you know what?
Trust.
Right? No, I had to police myself and say, what you doing?
Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
I'm still gonna do it.
Okay.
You put ashes on the alpaca.
Hi, America.
What up, Tess?
I just want to throw this disclaimer out there, in case y'all didn't hear that part that you said that I didn't know about it. Yeah, it wasn't. I didn't.
Nigga, sit down.
No.
All right, we got
myself.
another comment from Miss Evans. And that comment, well, actually, is a question. What about men that still have friendships with their exes and want their women to be cool about it? I'm going to assume it just depends on the relationship with the friendship, the level of friendship with the ex, and what kind of friendship it is.
Not even much that, but what we talking about? We talking about ex-wife because
Well, I mean,
you're gonna have to have some type of relationship.
Well, the question is, what about the men that have friendship with exes and want their woman? So that would apply to girlfriend.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
And want their ex, want their woman, and want their woman to be cool with it. And I mean, it depends because I mean.
It depends. Hold on. Speaking from a woman, it all depends on the relationship that you have with that ex.
Yeah.
Okay. Because my mom,
we got a caller.
Okay. Because my mother is very good friends with my dad, and they talk all the time. When I say they talk all the time, I mean they talk every day. You would think that they were still married as much as they talk. However, my dad also has that same relationship with my stepdad. So at the end of the day, just like I told Cole, I said, hey, when it comes down to an ex, when it comes down to any friend that you have, you can't have a friend that I'm not friends with. And I think that's the conversation that you have to have. If you have a friend with an ex, like we also have to be friends.
Okay, hold on. Well. We got the call on. We got the call on. Put the call on by the mic.
It's for Charity. Charity, do you feel that way about exes and flings? Like you played or slept with and they should still have communication with them?
Who is this called? Comedian.
I'm talking about exes and like random.
So your question is random people that they slept with?
Like you were saying how you cut off all your contacts when you were serious, and you wanted him to do the same, and then you later learned that it can't really be. They can't cut off all their friends, which I understand it. But I'm saying, what do you feel about the exes and like random flings they had? Should they still have communication with them type?
I think it would, for me, it would be based on the type of relationship or friendship that they have with that person. Okay, so if that person, and the sad part about it is, and I'm gonna be just very honest with you, the sad part about it is, for some reason, women feel more comfortable when they know that fling or that ex is in another relationship. Okay.
Hold on 1 second.
She lost sound.
Yeah, can y'all hear me?
It just happened.
Oh.
Check the sound.
I'm checking.
Okay.
Well, and the thing about it is, if you sit down and you have that conversation, if you sit down and you're having that conversation with that man that you're with, and they cannot come to the understanding of how you feel about it, it has to come down to, do you feel threatened by that relationship? So something has had to happen to where you feel like it's not really a platonic friendship. It's not a platonic type of conversation. And if that's what's happening, then that's a totally different conversation. You know what I'm saying? So if you feel like, hey, there's some things that are happening that's crossing the line.
Well, I feel like if they not put themselves in the situation, so it's not platonic, but you got to
No, did you want to be?
Absolutely. And I'm gonna tell you, like Oprah said, if you know a person, act like you know them.
Believe them. If people
And
show
believe
you
it.
who they are, believe them.
If people show you who they are, believe it.
Believe it.
Okay, so the thing about it is, if he and you know, I don't want to step on nobody's toes, but I also feel like if he really values you, then cutting off that relationship with that fling or whatever, it ain't gonna mean nothing, because guess what? This is detrimental to the relationship that I'm in. If he values how you feel, and if he values the relationship, then there shouldn't be a problem with that.
Okay, I agree with that.
All right, thank you, caller.
Thank you,
Something I wanted to say right quick.
All right, Mr. IQ.
One of the greatest lines of communication that people neglect is they spend too much time lying to themselves in a relationship. You should be in constant communication with knowing this is who I really am and what I'm uncomfortable with. And they tell themselves a lie, knowing they see something totally different than what they got in their head. And instead of just being honest and being like, hey, I don't feel good about this. I don't feel right about this. Whatever. Just like your expectation toward your husband. We had to express that to him and y'all can have that conversation. But that conversation we mostly should have within ourselves is how do I feel? And then express it rather than just being, oh, I'm gonna wait till later. It's gonna come out in some unforeseen circumstance and it'll blow up based off of something that had nothing to do at that time with anything. But people should really communicate within themselves and stop lying to themselves about what they actually see.
That's true.
And get off the goddamn smartphones and talk.
Yeah. I got
Very healthy show.
I got caught off guard. I got a question. Are men cool? So this is a question to us men's. Yes. Are men cool with their woman being friends with their woman exes?
Huh? Look, bro, can I get another one?
That's a good one.
That's a good one. Look, me personally, I don't give no fucks. If you're cool, if you was cool with them before you met me, how can I tell you who to be friends with? You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because 9 times out of 10, if we don't work out, they're still gonna be there as a friend. You gotta know the lines to draw.
Double-sided
The
sword.
dick ain't my dick ain't gonna do what I don't want it to do. A lot of women like, you can't control your dick, fucking pussy. Nah, fuck that. That's why my goddamn children gap so fucking long. Daughter 24, son 8. I ain't trying to do all that extra bullshit.
Okay.
So what I'm
Tess Brown say communication is not the key to a successful relationship. Comprehension is. And I can understand that. Because you have to comprehend what somebody is telling.
Well, how you gonna comprehend if it hasn't been communicated?
Because well, all right, Tess.
But one, to go back to what Sai was talking about, perfect example, I'll take my lifetime experience. That we cook. Best friend of mine has been my friend through 2 different relationships. And she's still my friend. I do tell my significant other that I do have a female friend by the name of Daphne. She's been my friend and hasn't even changed. So the thing is that with women, it should be the same way. If you have been friends with Cole from the get-go, from the down low, it's like, what? From now that me and you are dating, you can't be friends with Cole anymore?
Hold on before you throw something out there. Hold on.
I'm not gonna go ahead and dictate that.
Hold on before you throw something out there. Okay. So Cole says I'm a social butterfly. So I might allow that. I'm gonna allow that because
you're a social butterfly.
I'm a social butterfly.
Does everybody agree here that he is? Does everybody agree that he's a social butterfly?
So I have a lot of female friends. Even if me and Cole weren't married, I've been through at least 20 marriages in the past 12 years. And not because I'm in a marriage, it's because I have female friends who are in relationships, marriages, and I am their Ronald Wheeler. I am their voice of reason. And there's no detrimental plan or anything like that going on. Is this nigga did this shit and I'm mad. First of all, calm down.
Counterpoint. It's a G. Okay, I'm gonna address that Ms. Tess Brown in just a second. But counterpoint to what Mr. Cole was saying, and to that whole question, it all depends. Because at the same time, just as easily as you can be that shoulder that they cry on, or not that ear that can listen.
Go ahead and say it.
Yeah, that's because you can be that ear that can listen, can and often does, not in all circumstances, being fair, but can and often does turn into other things, because when somebody starts relaying their problems from their relationship to that outside source, especially that outside source who either they were just cool with, or especially one that they had been with once before.
Right, the shoulder you cry on is the dick you ride on.
It can't.
But
that's
what
I mean,
Wow.
that's an old saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It happens like that, but still, it goes back to your dick ain't gonna let you do what you don't want to do.
Okay, now I gotta back to Miss Tess Brown on the communication thing. I'm gonna refresh. First thing she said, communication is not key to a successful relationship. Comprehension. To which I retorted, how can they comprehend what hasn't been communicated? And she says, doesn't matter how good communication is, if your mate don't get it, what good is communication? Well, without communication, I do understand what you're saying. I'm not trying to take away from what you're saying, but how can you comprehend what isn't communicated?
So
Perhaps you need to work on better ways of communication, because you're never going to comprehend without the communication. That's just like, okay,
well, some people
my
look
mate
at your
is mad
actions.
at me, but she won't tell me why she's mad at me. So I'm supposed to sit here and just know.
Yeah.
And that's why I said some people look at your actions. Like, you may communicate something, but your actions, you know how we say actions speak louder than words?
Right.
Your actions are speaking louder than what you're communicating.
Or maybe your mate is stupid.
So I'm gonna
What's my favorite line to you, Cole?
hold up.
Say it. I'm Haitian. I'm not a mind reader.
I'm not a mind reader. So I'm gonna throw this out. And
I think your relationship needs is clear.
This streamlines into communication.
Call me.
So when you have someone, okay, I'm about to drift off into this cheating thing, okay? Because we can't talk about communication and in relationships without the cheating thing, okay? So I'm gonna talk about my previous relationship, because it was the cheating thing was what made me weak, right? But the reason I told you guys already that he wanted to feel just as important as I did, even though I was doing everything, and I promise you everything I possibly could to make sure that this man felt affection, intimacy, everything. What got me was the fact that it wasn't that I said, okay, you know what? I need you to throw all your cards out on the table. Now it's time for us to have this talk. If we're going to work through this, because, you know, I'm Mama Bear, the first thing that a woman does, she may be pissed off. She may throw you out. She may do all these actions. But what she really wants to do is protect what is hers. And I'm not saying you're hers, but protect that relationship, right? So I said, throw all your cards out on the table. I need to know about everybody. I need to know about everything, because we can't move forward if we don't know what happened in the past. And you can get it all out, and it won't be held over your head, where you feel like I have this big elephant that I'm not talking about. And then we're going to deal with it, and we're going to move forward, right? He did that. Didn't tell me about everybody, but he did that. The problem that I had with the fact that he did what he did was that he made it seem as though I didn't exist. If you gonna cheat, do it like my grandfather did it, like your grandfathers did it. This my wife. This my woman. This my queen.
My wife.
This gonna stay my wife. If you gonna be the side piece, stay in your place. It was the level of disrespect that happened to me where, take your notes out. Take your notes. It was the level of disrespect that not only did she feel, she didn't know about who I was. She didn't know that we had 2 children and one on the way. It was more so the fact that he lied to this woman to do his thing. Not only did he lie to this woman, and the sad part about it is I had to also help him keep the lie because of his position in the military. So I was like, I'm not going to let this situation, actually ruin what we built. Because guess what? I did the Irish pinning of the uniforms. I used to crease the camis and do the actual cover.
For those who don't know.
Right. I did all of that. I helped you get ready for.
And it ain't me.
I helped you do your Foot Locker and spit shine boots. Yeah, back then we would spit shining boots.
Okay.
You know, I was with you in the trenches. Okay, kind of like they say, you know, the secretary. I was with you in the trenches, or what have you. But then when it came down to this female, not only did she not know about me, but you lied to her about me as though I didn't exist. And then when she found out about me, you were more worried about her feelings than mine. So that made me realize, like, hey, you know what? It doesn't matter what I do. It's not gonna be enough.
Yep.
Okay, it's not gonna be enough. But the thing about it is too is, and I don't know if I'm stepping on some women's toes, but I do feel like women are very understanding when it comes down to that realm. I told myself I would never be with a man that would cheat on me, but you never know until you get in it. And it's not about the money, because my ex-husband was a warrant officer. He was getting paid. It wasn't about the money, but he did think she ain't gonna leave you because we make all this money. Sorry, happened. But the thing about it is, I do believe, what I'm trying to say is, I do believe that women will always say, well, if you do this, I'm not gonna be with you. And, you know, I won't accept this. But until you're faced with that situation, you don't know what you will do. But I think a lot of it stems from the reason why women leave is based on, once they're in it, the way that it all goes down and it transpires, and they find out what their value is. Because as y'all say, for men, it's not about the emotional attachment, right? It's the women who are emotionally attached. Y'all not emotionally attached when you cheat. It's just, I just want a piece.
All right, we got a caller.
Hello, caller.
You on?
Hello, Tess Brown.
What's up, Chelsea, baby? Put up that by the mic, yo. What you got? What you got, Chelsea?
My second one, I told you.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back to this communication, not communication. Let's just say we are communicating. And it don't necessarily mean that those who got to stop is communicating. What I'm saying is this. Sometimes there is no right and wrong action. It could be communicating with an ex, you might not like it, but in all honesty, sometimes that in his or her, however the situation goes, there's no right or wrong in it. All I'm saying is this, is that sometimes we gotta agree to disagree. If it's a huge problem for your spouse, whether there are no wrong or ill intentions on doing it, you just may have to not do it. It's about compromise. That's all. That's what I'm saying. We can communicate all day, and you might not get what I'm saying or how it affects me, because you know in your heart of hearts you're not doing anything wrong. There's nothing ill behind it. It's just the simple fact that, man, my old lady or my old man had a problem with me doing this, so you got to compromise and not do it. That's what I mean by going down to comprehend communication.
Okay.
All right, so expounding on what she's saying is, it's no need talking to, ain't nobody getting what's being said.
Okay, you talking on deaf ears.
Right. So what we have to do.
Raptors going to the finals.
That was just
What I did.
Wait, down. The Philadelphia tied it up, and then the ball bounced in the goddamn rim as the buzzer sank.
That was a great game.
That was fantastic.
Highlights on Sports Center.
Sorry about that, Miss Tess. She still there?
No, you good.
Oh,
Okay.
See, look, she compromised.
There you go. She comprehended that we were watching the game as well.
It was only the last 2 seconds.
So guess who the Bucks is playing?
The only team that's left.
And we will fucking run amok on them.
Damn, boy.
Oh, Tess.
Tess, please go ahead and restate what you were saying so you can get everyone's attention again.
I said, I don't know if they call it.
No, I called it the first time. We called it the first time.
You're wrong. One person ain't necessarily wrong and the other person ain't necessarily right. It's just it's a mutual respect. So
Yeah.
it's just that he got a problem, she got a problem with this or that, even though there ain't no ill intentions behind it. It's just some shit I'm gonna have to talk about.
But that's
So what do you do when?
but that's
So what do you do when the agree to disagree isn't? It doesn't get you anywhere. Like, okay, we agree to disagree, but the other person is not satisfied with that.
I mean, it ain't gonna, that's why we agree to disagree, because you ain't gonna always be satisfied with everything. That's why if you call yourself being in a relationship, period, point blank, shit ain't gonna always go your way. You gonna like it, you ain't gonna like it. Somebody got to be in at the end of the day. Or if y'all gonna be bumping heads all day, what's the point of wasting time?
and that's like what Ron said about either you gonna sit there, agree to disagree, and move on.
And move on. You have
Because
to
if you
let
don't,
go.
Right.
you gotta let go. You gotta let go of that
I
situation.
mean, it's a bunch of time wasting.
Right, because that's usually what happens. There's a bunch more time wasted because it said that it's let go, but it's not necessarily let go. One by one person or the other.
Yeah, you take out. There you go.
And I'm gonna be honest, we want women, and I'm just being honest, we are emotional creatures and we act out emotion a lot. So sometimes, and I'm guilty myself, I have to step back. It might take a week or a month or 2 months to see where my man was coming from. You know what I'm saying? By him doing what he did before I flew off the hammer for 2 months straight and been pissed off.
Right. Okay.
About really sometimes about nothing.
We're completely frozen now.
Okay.
Oh no, we're not.
Okay. Well, Tess, we do appreciate you calling.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for clearing that up, Tess.
Thank you for watching.
Oh, goddamn Tessera. We miss your ass, girl. Oh, motherfucker.
I'm sorry. We sorry.
I got you.
Okay.
So, I will say that we have been able to come to a consensus that that we as men and women need to communicate with each other better. One of the first and foremost things. I think that is one thing that we can all agree with, both men and women. We also came to the consensus that you need to also know when to let go of shit. Some shit you need to let go of, because staying mad about shit don't solve nothing. They don't do it. It don't help nothing. It don't cause nothing but problems for you both later. You staying mad, you ain't gonna be happy. No, and you ain't happy. No matter how happy, you can't be there to make the other person happy, and vice versa. So once again,
I will say it will funk a mood though. It will funk a mood. You know. I don't like it, but fuck you.
But before we,
to you.
You want some coffee?
Right
Fuck
now.
you.
Fuck you.
You want some eggs? Fuck you.
but before we roll off, before we give our little final words and everything, well, yeah, we're gonna start to do our little final words. We need our actual petty moment.
I had my actual.
That was
it.
You pissed on the. You pissed on
You pissed it out, or you pissed on it?
We need a co-fat.
I hope he didn't piss on it.
Oh.
We need a co-fat.
Oh. Hi, America. It's time for Kofax. Fight Boy Vader. This is going to be a 6-part Kofax. It's about this topic that I found on everydaypower.com. 6 hard facts about successful relationships. Number 1. You can be right or be in love. Those are your options. Number 2. Successful relationships require gentleness with each other. That means it goes both ways, ladies and gentlemen.
Stop cutting each other with them words. It don't help.
Exactly.
Live within your means and always save. Because money is always one of the biggest problems that happen in a relationship. It's the number one reason that there's 50% divorce rate in America.
Yeah, touche. Well played.
Never spend money to make each other happy. You cannot buy love.
That's what they say.
You can drive up real close to it though.
But you can put that bitch on land.
You know what I'm saying to that shit?
No, fuck that. You can't buy love, but you can buy happiness. And anybody who don't believe you can buy
All
happiness,
you need is $40.
all you need is $40.
What y'all should ask.
Hold on, let me do my 5 and 6.
Do your 5 and 6.
Okay, Number 5. Have sex and orgasms as frequently as you can. Hey, that's number 5. This is their list, not mine. It's $79.99.
79. Yeah, because Bill
exactly.
Belichick. Bill Belichick.
No, Robert Kraft.
Oh yeah, Kraft.
Number 6. Always be willing to go to therapy. This is the one I have a problem with because I'm not a therapy person. Not really. But you know what? I have been, and I'm learning to deal with it. So
I'm here to tell you, I went to therapy once, and it does not work. Me and that motherfucker will never see eye to eye. Look, you know why? Because everything he says, he twisted it back to her. Fuck that. Fuck therapy. No. We sat there on that motherfucking couch. We sat there on that motherfucking couch, y'all. You know what I'm saying? And we sat there and talked, and I was telling her, look, this is what's making me feel this way. She says 2 things. Well, Mr. Bussy, maybe you. How the fuck? How in the entire fucking blue pits of hell?
You were in the therapist room?
I was in a real life therapist room. Son.
Did they give you? Did you give them a bill? Did you give them a bill?
Shit, I had to be about 30s, mid-30s.
I was goddamn.
I'm like, oh yeah.
I was 15.
Oh yeah.
I was 15.
Trying to make it work and get a fucking understanding. I'm sitting in this.
I was 15 on this shit.
So in closing for Mrs. Cole, I would like to say that I believe that money cannot buy happiness. However, on Mother's Day, today, I did buy my husband a gift.
Awesomeness.
I'll say that.
Oh.
Man.
You guys say,
Hey, are you happy with your gift? It's right there, yo. Are you happy?
okay.
Are you happy? Are you happy?
Money about happiness today.
You gotta watch.
I'm gonna need you to open your eyeballs, man.
I got my glasses on.
Put your glasses on, man.
My bad.
I'm sitting here holding the phone. There you go.
Dude, I used to drive in the van, suppose.
Say passe.
It took him 12 minutes.
Yeah. All right.
Say passe.
That's it.
Yeah. People in America, stop looking on the first damn page when you Google something and believe it.
You know what? That's true.
Just got petty.
That's some real ass shit.
Just got petty.
That's true.
One example would be if anyone were to Google Uncle Tom, the first remarks that pop up, Wikipedia, Google itself, tells you a false narration of who Uncle Tom was.
Exactly.
This man was actually the architect for the Underground Railroad.
Yeah.
He walked from Kentucky to Canada and set up the first school for black people.
Is that on page 3?
But what they did was they made sure they made a movie about his name so that when word of mouth got passed from slave to slave, his name would be derogatory. So that same complex that exists in today's society also exists in the tech world. People pay money to be on that first page. It doesn't necessarily mean they're true or not, but people actually pay money to be on the first page and have the highest stats when you Google something. So as far as the tech tip, when you look at those first things that appear, don't necessarily just go with what you see because some people pay to be there.
So what if you are on the first page, but you go down to like the third one?
So look, real shit. So fucking loophole. No.
3 or 4.
I went looking. What? My first year in the Marine Corps, I looked up my name on Google. I don't have a freaking common name, so I'm like, okay, whatever. So I got all kind of shit. First thing I got was John Lee Hooker. No, that's not me. I met John Lee Hooker. I said what I said, damn it. So I get to like page 4. I found my birth certificate. I found my father's first divorce decree. I found all kind of shit. I was like, oh, this is what's up. Never gonna just stick to page 1 anymore. And even now, I tell my kids, don't go just to page 1. You gotta go. Chance to be the first one to tell you. I'll tell her that. Go Google it. He'll ask me a question. Go Google it, and he'll come back and say something. I say, did you find that on page 1? You know there are like 13 more pages, right? So that's a real shit right there.
Mr. Jones. What is it? What Amy? Show us where your aggression is.
Tell them why you mad, son.
Tell them why you mad, son.
Aimless aggression.
Now, this is what I'm going to say. Shout out to City Gear and Southgate.
Okay.
For allowing the South to feel like we're part of the hip hop culture.
They the only ones that carry the new shit.
Yeah.
They're the only ones that carry the hot shit.
But you motherfucker that's at that cash register.
Oh shit.
That's blasting your motherfucking music. And you can't even hear whether I said cash or credit. Let me tell you something.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
You are running a business and you want my money, but you don't even fucking hear me? Turn that shit down. And it was some trap music. This is a goddamn store. And it is motherfucking up north attire. Why are you playing trap music like Gucci Man in the fucking up north? Oh my God. Turn that shit off. You need to know whether I'm paying for cash, credit, debit, or a motherfucking check. You can't even fucking hear me. So guess what? You know what I did? While you did that, I grabbed a pair of socks.
Did you just are you
I fucking am. And I took them shits and I ripped them up in front of him. What? He did not see anything. And I did it. Right there in front of him. Paying attention
America.
to the goddamn
America.
music.
Let me get in front. I need to get in front of him.
So,
No,
Hello,
you're
America.
done. You're done.
Hello,
America, we do not, Jesus Christ. We do not support the destruction. Get the fuck off the camera. We do not support the destruction of property or the breaking of laws on this show.
turn that music down.
Please do not judge us by the choices of one.
Okay.
That is my aim.
I think this is the only disclaimer that everybody can say we don't agree with that.
We do not agree with destroying
We're not
property
going out there.
that you did not pay for.
Mr. Wheeler.
I paid for my shirt and my shit.
His shirt and his shit was paid for.
Yeah, I got the receipt.
Cash.
Was it cash or credit?
What was the cash?
It was credit.
Credit. Goddamn debt.
So goddamn, I might just cancel shit.
My voice of breathing. What you should have done, you should have let that bullshit go. You should have done it. And that's what I want to implore you to do.
Who am I?
Let it go.
Who am I?
Let it go.
Who am I?
Is it worth your health?
Who am I?
Is it worth your life?
Who am I?
Is it worth your freedom?
Who am I?
Exactly. Let it go,
I'm
people.
bad.
We have to learn how to let shit go.
Oh,
The Bible said, let not the sun set upon your wrath. If you go to bed mad, you going to hell. That ain't what the Bible said. That's my word.
The Bible said, no, that's not what the Bible said.
No. The Bible don't say if you go to bed mad, go to hell. That's what I say. Y'all, what you going to bed mad for? Whatever it is, let it go. Take everything out your pocket, all them fucks that you have, and give them away. Don't give a fuck.
give your fucks away.
Yes, give them away. So when somebody asks you to care about something, you can say, I don't have any fucks to give.
But Ronald, he didn't even know whether or not I want to pay the cash credit.
But
But the customer service in you knew that he wasn't giving you
Who
good
was like,
customer
fuck
service.
that.
I don't want to.
wait.
I don't don't want to hear that shit, Cherry.
Hold on. The question would be,
I don't want to hear that shit, Cherry.
was the items that you were purchasing?
Cherry.
So you could have hit him in his pocket by not purchasing from him.
Thank you. My question. Why did you buy the shit? Who cares?
I wanted the shirt. The shirt was hot, son. It was hot, son. Hey, son.
It is hot.
Hey,
so it's hot.
Yeah.
Hey,
So,
hey,
I can't lie.
Hey.
The shirt is hot.
it is kind of hot.
It is
You
hot.
gotta let that pussy go. Pete,
But
you gotta let it go.
But that
Or you could have gave him
There's
the
a man on it
Okay,
flying.
so if you
He's flying.
If you choose to buy the shirt, then
Dreamland.
you have to deal
Dreamland,
with,
son.
once again,
Dreamland.
comprehension. You
Dreamland,
comprehend
son.
that this ignorant motherfucker is behind listening to this music loud.
That's why
You
I tore
wanted
the
that
socks.
shirt.
That's why
So
I
you
tore
have
the
to
socks.
deal with the bullshit that
That's
you
why I
put
tore
it
the
out.
socks.
Hold on.
the real question is, what did you say to him in regards to how?
I said, I was like, yo, I want to go ahead and get this and get this. Boom. And he was like, huh? And I was like, I would like to get this and this. I was like, you know what? Can you turn that down? Can you turn that down? He was like, oh, I'm sorry. Let me turn this down. I want to get this and this.
But you did not educate. Hold
on. Watch it. Watch it, Danny. Watch out now. Now, as soon as I started to talk, I was about to tell him, you know, should you turn your music down when a customer comes up here, right? Somebody, I guess it was his buddy, chimed in on the Bluetooth and the shit went up again.
Then what you should have
So
done?
that's when I grabbed the socks and I started ripping them up.
So if you
front
did
of
not educate this young man that was some bullshit.
That wasn't it. You put them socks
Yes.
up.
Yeah,
Now he just confused.
Yes.
Now all he said is, why did
I'm
you
sorry,
buy
but
those
he did
socks?
not see anything wrong with what he
He
did.
did. He
Because you
Still
did not.
does it.
He
Hold on.
still does
had
not.
the audacity
Fuck them
to
socks.
ask me cash or credit.
But you were so in your feelings
Fuck them
that
socks.
you still left
Hold
without
on.
ensuring that he
understood
understood what was important when patrons come into that establishment, how the establishment should be represented.
Hold on.
Fuck them socks.
Hold on. Going with Ron's words of
I love
wisdom.
you, yeah.
You know what?
I know
Okay.
exactly
Let it
what
go.
you're talking about.
Hold on. Going with Ron's words of wisdom. You ain't sleep yet. Let it go before you go to sleep.
Let it go.
I just did.
All right.
Exactly.
Another thing I had to let go was the San Francisco 49ers.
Oh.
They did some bullshit.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I had to let them go.
Right.
I had made my choice.
What's your new team?
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, he's made his choice.
The word of wisdom has made his choice.
I'm going to roll with Cleveland. I chose Cleveland because I like what they're doing.
Welcome to my business, sir.
Okay, we will beat Baltimore.
Fuck y'all team.
Let the MITs begin.
But I am choosing the Cleveland Browns to roll with because I like what they're doing.
Okay.
They're a quality team. And once again,
The uniforms look like shit.
top or the bottom, I'm a ride or die fan. I'm a Cleveland Browns.
Those-
Until they
those
do some
uniforms
bullshit
are
like San
dog.
Francisco
You
did.
know this brown dog.
Yeah, I will be a Cleveland Browns fan from here on out.
I can't wait to see you in your Baker Mayfield jersey.
Fuck your
No,
jersey.
I'll get a Nick Chubb.
You'll get Nick Chubb?
I'll get a Nick Chubb.
I can
Because
respect
Nick
that.
Chubb
You
is
get
like my
Give me
son's
something.
jersey at the G-Day game.
No Odell back.
Fuck your coach.
No, not his booty grabbing ass. No, the motherfucker catch the ball like you grab a booty. I don't have it.
No more San Francisco for you.
No more San Francisco. I got a San Francisco hat. I will continue to wear the hat because I paid $34 for it.
No.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
Who? If it match, it's going on. But I'm a Cleveland Browns fan.
It don't match the glasses.
Hey, the world matches.
All right.
Oh yeah, that will happen.
What's
Yes,
Riley and Gibbs?
Well, it's my turn, I suppose.
Oh, Lord.
And
Hello, America.
what grinds my gears, y'all probably ain't gonna like this one.
Oh, shit. Hello, America.
I get a disclaimer ahead of time.
We got it, yeah. Do we have to?
Yeah.
Hi, America. It's your boy, Vader. The views and expressions from one member of Live from the Death Star.
DarkSyde.
For now.
Mazel tov.
Do not reflect on the opinions of the complete segment of Live from
But I
the
might
Dark Side.
agree.
But we might agree. I don't know yet. We're going to see.
Okay.
Please, sir, continue.
Well, today we did, we discussed Aisha Curry. We led that into the original topic of relationships and what can make them fail and what can make them succeed. We discussed a lot of things. And that was all well and good. And I think we made some progress and we got some, we each got a little bit better understanding where the other side sees things. And that's not what grinds my gears. You know what grinds my gears?
What grinds your gears?
The very platform. Well, I won't say the very platform. Yeah, the very platform that we're using that we can use to do such great things with is also the very platform that is destroying us. And I'm not talking about Facebook in general. I'm talking about social media altogether. Social media is probably one of the worst inventions of humankind.
It's the devil.
Because it allows you to remain anonymous and not face penalty for your words, thoughts, and actions. It allows you to perpetrate a life that you don't live, and it allows other people to believe you're perpetrating that life. It destroys relationships because it provides more temptation than you will see walking down 15 streets. You can get that same amount of temptation in one scroll down your goddamn timeline. If it ain't one nigga with his shirt off, it's another 6 bitches with, sorry, you know what I'm saying? Another 6 bitches with their ass out talking about, is there something wrong with the strap on my dress? And tell me, and saying we don't want no attention until you jump in our inbox and then we thirsty. Social media in general grinds my motherfucking gears. Because instead of using the internet for what the internet was intended to use for, we as in humans, which I not one, Kryptonian. No.
Definitely aliens.
Y'all as in humans took that invention, and like many inventions that we took, you have perverted it to the worst possible degree. Yes. Facebook or social media in general could be used in millions and millions of ways to solve millions and millions of problems from low to high. Social media in general, the power created by social media, the money created by social media. And what do we do? We squander it on posting other motherfuckers' business and showing our ass and communicating the dumbest shit and showing everybody what the fuck you ate today and what the fuck you gonna eat tomorrow. And we got some new Jordans. Which I've done that.
Okay.
First of all, my ribs looking delicious.
Fuck your ribs, but yes, they were. I'm mad that you didn't give me any. But the whole point is, one of our biggest forms of destruction is the very platform that we view every day. Think about it. A lot of us could be laying in the bed with somebody, and before we wake up and speak to that person, we grab our goddamn phone to see what happens. A lot of us could be sitting in a room full of people, but instead of, and this is one of Einstein's here, this is an actual thing of Einstein, when people are sitting in a room dealing, and instead of communicating with each other, they're all stuck in this goddamn phone, stuck in this technology.
What I said.
Put your phones down. Yeah, but it isn't just the phone. I mean, social media is more than just the phone. Your phone is just a way to access it. Your phone isn't social media. Your phone is just the portal, the window that you view social media through. Social media is a large spectrum, and the first thing and the last thing and the first person we talk to and the last person we talk to 99% of the times it's on this motherfucking screen. Instead of cultivating the personal relationship that you have with the people that are around you, you would rather cultivate the relationships that aren't even fucking real on this goddamn media with people that you have most of it. I mean, all right, let's be real. Who has 1,000 friends that they know personally? You personally know and remember and interact with 1,000 people regularly. No one has 1,000 friends. So you probably you know you went.
It don't be is to love me.
But
It don't be is to
You don't know them motherfucking people, nigga. Shut up.
Damn.
I do not know.
You don't know them people. Them people you ain't the reason you even have come in contact with these people is because of social media.
And they want to be nosy.
They wanted to be nosy, or we wanted to be nosy, or we wanted to see what they were showing, or we wanted to show. And that, you know what I'm saying, this very platform that we could use, social media is like nuclear energy. You can use nuclear energy to solve a lot of the world's problems, and it don't even have to be as dirty as it is. But what do we use it for? Bombs. We use it to destroy. Yeah, sure, we use it for some power plants. But even when we use it for power plants, we don't use it properly for power plants, so we waste more of the energy than we use, and then we just throw the waste in big holes and hope that one day our children or our children's children are gonna know what to do with the mountains and mountains and mountains of radioactive waste we left sitting here.
Flint.
I ain't
Chernobyl.
We're going into whole different shits, but I mean, I'm just saying, social media is that same principle. It has the power to fund and project and give and help, just like nuclear energy does. But we turn it into mountains and mountains and mountains of nuclear waste. That's what grinds my gears.
All right.
And with that said, this is your boy Chris March. We enjoy it. We thank y'all for once again watching our show. We appreciate it. We appreciate everyone that called in, everyone that had questions, comments, concerns. We normally shout out all the people, but it's gonna get hard to do.
It's really
so everyone that watched, thank you.
Appreciate it.
We appreciate it. We go live throughout the week. We make posts. You know what I'm saying? Feel free. Hit us up. Contact us. We're trying to make this go better. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. We tried I won't necessarily say a new format. We tried to control ourselves better to where we don't talk over each other. So we hope y'all notice and y'all can appreciate that. And we're trying to get better with each and every show. This is my month. I have no idea what our topic is going to be for next week, but I will get in touch with y'all pretty soon because I think of something stupid. I'm sure I will. But once again, live from the dark side, got Miss Cole.
Hello.
The Mad Poster.
Yeah.
IQ Detect and Businessman. Ronald Wheeler. Sire Bussy.
Nobody do it like Petty Can Bus. I want to say what I want.
Oh shit! Classic.
Hey, Lord Vanderbilt.
I am your father.
Not Luke. And once again, these were the opinions of just 5 guys and 1 lady. We're shooting the shit, you know what I'm saying? Don't take anything personal. We're just expressing, and hopefully, we reach somebody.
And if you is taking it personally, rub some dirt on that shit.
Get some tussin'.
Fuck.
We out.
We out.
I like you anyway.